Greetings. Today is Thursday, May 4th, and I have one of my good friends, and he's going to remain anonymous, but I'm going to do an interview with him. He's a bit younger, actually one of my old students, and we reconnected, and very intelligent guy, very I won't even say outspoken as much as very confident in his beliefs. And I felt it was a good conversation to publicize based on male-female relationships with blended situations, blended families. So we were talking about ladies with multiple partners with children, well, with multiple co-parents. So what were you saying about the advice that you want to?
I just was like, I wanted to sit down with her and, question her life decisions, what made her get to this point. Like, I can't understand what makes you think that, okay, yeah, I have a daughter of my own, one kid, but you want me to step in this situation with you, and you got 3 kids, 3 different baby daddies. I love my daughter too much. I don't love you enough to be in that situation. I love my daughter too much. I'm too concerned about the image that's going to put on my daughter and stuff like that. Like, that's pretty much me telling her that it's okay to have that many baby daddies and stuff like that, and somebody's still gonna love you at the end of the day. Everybody ain't gonna love you, and everybody's not gonna want to deal with that type of situation. Like, and I just had to really be honest with her, and I had to think about how I felt on the inside, and I just had to tell her bluntly, like, I just don't have enough love in my heart to deal with that situation. But we need to question your life decisions.
All right, let's put a caveat on that. What about a woman who wants to, let's say a similar situation, but wants to find fast ways to make money?
That's wrong. Honestly, I feel like that's wrong, because at the end of the time, like, she's just using the kids for a quick check. Like, is that really love? Like, should you really be bringing a kid into this world just based off of finances? I mean, the world is already messed up enough as it is. Food is, the cost of living is getting higher, the cost of food is getting higher, and yeah, you may collect a little check or whatever like that, but is it really enough to really take care of you and that kid? Because that's going to be your responsibility, and whether you like it or not, you can go to jail for not taking care of that responsibility. Like, at the end of the day, like, whether you love that child or not, if you don't take care of that child, you're gonna go to jail. And I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta live with yourself. And can you really, can you go to sleep at night with that on your conscience?
And 18 years.
That's a long time.
That check is gone. Yeah. So what about retirement?
Yeah.
I mean, what about women in the streets with kids like that? And
I had a friend like that, and I wonder about her to this day sometimes. We were younger. She used to like me. I used to like her. My grandma told her she'd never allow her to marry me.
Yeah.
But she ended up falling into the wrong crowd, got strung out on drugs, and selling herself on the streets. She had a son.
Oh, wow.
When she was in 8th grade I was about to say high school, but in middle school. And I always wondered, like, after that situation, like, we met when we was maybe about 18, 19, before the whole situation, her getting strung out, happened. But after that, once I found out what happened to her, I wondered what happened to her son in this case, because I was just like, like, man, like, she was a good person. I didn't really you know, expect something like that to happen to her. But I got worried about the son. I was like, who's taking care of the son? Because the person who's taking care of her passed away. So it was kind of like she didn't have no family left. So I was like, I hope the child, like if the child ended up in the system, that they find a family that loved them.
Wow, that's real. I mean, and the other piece of that is a lot of people out here on survival mode and lost and medicating on whether multiple partners, surviving, whether they have to use their body, because a lot of people not using their brain to make money.
Yeah, I would say, and some people are just irresponsible like that. Some people, I just had to come to realize that some people are irresponsible. Because back on the young lady, she like I said, she tried to have relations with me, and she didn't think about no condom or nothing like that. Thank goodness for me and my personal preferences that I just wasn't going to go through with it regardless. But I really had to think about it. I was just like, man, she was really going to probably let me, you know, do that with no condom and stuff like that. I was like, this girl is wild.
Yeah,
this girl is wild. No one, like,
irresponsible.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, no wonder you got 2 kids, 2 different baby daddies at the time, and now you got 3 kids, 3 different baby daddies. And then what made it even crazier to me was I just had to realize that there's just some people out there in the world that are just like this. She said she was gonna name the guy's kid after me if she had a boy. I was
heck nah.
I instantly said, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
I was like, don't do that. No, don't do that. I was like, what am I supposed to feel? Honored?
Yeah. You know, or obligated. Are you trying to make me feel obligated?
Yeah, what is your purpose behind this? You trying to make me feel special or what? Like, I don't understand.
Were there any other, you know, good traits about her that she brought to the table, or was it just kind of like physical and companionship?
I would say, as far as like with me, I will say she actually did love me.
But did she bring anything to the table, asset wise?
No, she would have been more of a burden on me.
Oh, okay. So love is never enough.
Not completely, no.
Gotcha.
Not in no situation like that, because when you think about the whole situation in a whole, do you really want to deal with that for that many years?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have enough patience to deal with that? Like, can you wait it out for those 18 years to pass by, and you and that loved person, you know, that loved one had the rest of that time with yourselves?
Right.
I mean, technically the kids are still gonna be in your lives, but they grown, they adults, they
right.
You know, living their life at that point in time. But it's like, do you have that patience to wait it out that long? Like, to deal with everything that comes with it in between?
And just to even add to your point, where's the commitment level on either side? You know, and what are her choices? You know, and I respect you for your choice. And hey, this is just a no-go. You know, because at some point, you know, men have to take responsibility for what they lay in seed too.
Yeah.
And if you're just, you know, going along with whatever the female says, you're not being the leader that a woman needs anyway.
And I would say this is somebody who's like halfway between like the new generation and older generation, like being born like 89.
Right.
Like, I kind of get both worlds. Like, I understand where the younger guys, like, why marriage is decreasing and stuff like that, because of situations like this, and women who tend to use guys for more of a financial meal ticket and security for the rest of their life. I understand that we're supposed to be providers, but at the end of the day, we don't want to feel used. And, you know, in a situation like that, you're just going to feel used no matter how much the person loves you. It's just the whole thing that comes with it. Like, men don't want to, like, as far as the newer generation, they want to feel appreciated. They want to know that, you know, they're not being used as a meal ticket, because it's getting harder to accumulate that wealth and stuff like that. Like, we already have to be providers. We already have to work ourselves, like, pretty much to the bone for our woman. Like, we pretty much put ourselves in an early coffin. We died pretty much, like, statistically, like 10 years earlier than women. So it's like we're already working ourselves in a coffin why am I going to shave off some more time of my life dealing with the stress of you, 3 different baby daddies, 3 different kids, my child. I have a mother, like the mother of my child, I pay child support. Like, why am I going to work myself extra hard? And then for some women, their response is, oh, well, just get a better job. Like, oh,
Yeah.
like, let me just go out here and find this $1 million a year
Yeah,
job.
right. That's
Like-
just
like,
they just
that's-
throwing them out. They just
yeah,
passing them out.
like, yeah, they just, you know, say stuff without realizing like how much stuff we have to go through to get
Like,
to
if it's like that, then why don't you have that $1 million job?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
like, and times is getting so tough now where it's just that the man can't just be the provider, otherwise he is going to work himself in the early grave, because things are getting more expensive now. Even on there's no more middle class. You're either rich or you're poor. So it's like, as a man, as the provider, we know that we're going to have to work the most. We're going to have to provide most of the money. And there's cases where the woman
stereotypically, there's some women out here who, you know, hey, props to y'all, you know.
But even as the man though, even if you're making less, you're still gonna probably like instinctively want to put down more. Like, you're still gonna want to take care of the bills over her. And
a man now, not a boy. A man
gonna be like, you know, hey, but keep your money. Say that, you know, for rainy days. Say that for groceries, whatever. Blah, blah. I got the bills. Bam. That like,
and on just to add to your point, when he kept saying deal with that, you know, in terms of the co-parent, the male co-parents, there's a lot of politics and social situations to deal with, such as the ex may have feelings for the female or vice versa. And then there's a whole situation with that. You also have, you know, treat my kids like they're yours when it come down to getting them stuff, but when it come down to rearing and discipline, oh, don't talk to my child like that. Oh, they don't need to do that. They don't need to learn that. They don't need to clean up the clothes. And you know, there's a whole lot of politics. And then you got some dudes like, hey, don't, you know, they try to come up and act like they running your house. It's like, hey, my kid here, you know, this is how it's gonna go down. You not gonna touch my kid, you know, this. Oh, but you paying bills here, and you gonna come up here and tell me how to run my house? And there's some women that do that too now.
And then you got to think about the kids as well, because that's gonna be a whole nother dynamic as far as like how the kids get along with each other. Like,
right,
like,
and all of them got different daddies. Everybody got different daddies.
Yeah, I can speak from personal experience. Like, me and my step siblings didn't really get along like that all the time. Like, I was kind of the oddball out of me and my step siblings. So you got to think about the dynamic between the kids. Like, are the kids going to actually get along for real, or are they going to put on a facade? Are they on the same level, like, as far as like living situation? Well, how can I explain it? For instance, my daughter London, she grows up in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's a very close, tight-knit area. You can say that they pretty much breed hippies in Charlottesville. My daughter grows up in hippies.
Okay.
Like, it's a very peaceful area.
Okay.
Whereas her kids grew up here in Atlanta and stuff like that. They're a little bit faster. I hear them cursing and stuff like that. I would say that my daughter actually has for an 8-year-old, she has a real 8-year-old mentality.
Gotcha.
Whereas her
she
kids,
ain't being fast and
she's not
overly
being
grown,
fast and
right.
stuff like that. She's, you know, and I'm like, do I like want to bring my daughter in that situation? How's that going to affect my daughter? Like, is that going to force my daughter to grow up too fast when I don't want her to grow up that fast? Like, I want my daughter to still be a kid at 8 years old.
Right. You should still be playing with toys.
Yeah, I don't want her to be hanging out with her kids and then they're influencing her, and now she's cursing behind my back and all of this other stuff, things that I haven't got to talk to her yet about because I still want her to be a kid.
Right.
So
8 years old, you still need to be a kid. You still be a respectful child.
Like, not even just the dynamic between the parents, it's going to be the dynamic between the kids as well. So it's like, you got to take all of that into consideration, and do you have it in your heart to deal with all of that?
I totally feel you on that, because coming out of
Because you got to have a lot of love in your heart to deal with that type of situation.
Right.
A lot of love in your heart. And a lot of energy and a good back, because you're going to be working.
And you know, just with kid politics, you know, you can have a bully kid in the crowd. You can have a
I ain't gonna lie, I used to beat up my stepbrother.
Like I said, you can have a bully kid in the crowd,
really bully him.
which is not your. Hold on, let me finish the point. Which is not your, you know, blood child, you know, and then you have to try and deal with that, and you may have the mother of that child like, oh, you ain't gonna put your hand. You like,
yeah, because
this kid is whooping my kids' butt.
My dad used to manipulate the situation because he didn't like my stepdad, so he would cause strife between like me and my step siblings. Like I'll go visit him on the weekends or something like that. And like the whole weekend he'll just gas my head up like, oh man, you shouldn't let him do that. I was like, blah, if you do that, you need to just blah blah. You know, just had me just on go already. Like before I even really give him a chance or anything like that. Even though sometimes it was deserved.
Right.
More times than
not.
any. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
still, the extra influence wasn't necessary.
Wasn't necessary.
Right.
But like I said, I was just like, you know, with dealing with her, I just had to really think to myself and the whole overall situation, everything that's gonna come with it, and like, do I have enough love in my heart to deal with this situation? Like I had to really ask myself that, like, do I have enough love in my heart to deal with this situation, or, you know, would I just be faking the funk for companionship or whatever like that? Because I mean, honestly, it would be more of a financial burden on me. It wouldn't be for nothing else but the companionship.
And that's real. That's grown man thinking and grown man conversation. And a lot of ladies can't understand it. They think that just because they're, you know, giving sex, that it's an equalizer, and it never is. You know, that you can get sex anywhere. It's like, what do you bring to the table that's going to benefit us? If something happens to me, do you have enough get up and drive to get off your butt and make up the shortcoming? Or are you helping me? Are you really supporting me in this effort to be a couple, to be a team? And a lot of people out on self, it's like, oh yeah, I got this dude, he working. You know, what if he get hurt? You know what I'm saying? You know, what then? What you gonna do? You know, oh baby, you know, you got to get better because, you know, we need some money. Like,
are you gonna stick it out with him? Or are you gonna leave him?
You gonna take care of him?
Are you really there for better or worse? Because I mean,
are you improving yourself while he's taking care of you and stuff, so that you can be an asset to the situation?
Yeah, you supposed to be his peace, not a headache. But you know, that goes into a deeper
PEAC, not PIECE.
Yeah.
There's a difference now.
Yeah.
And I'm not being crass, but this is real talk. And a lot of people don't want to engage in this conversation or have this conversation because so many people on survival mode, and they just want what you got.
Yeah,
in terms of
relationships,
exactly, in terms of the finances.
Like,
yeah,
for the younger generation, like as far as like males go, like I date somebody who's from England, like, and I most definitely get, you know, talked about sometimes like by girls, like, you know, when they find out, okay, oh, your girlfriend, oh, so you don't want to date us black girls here in the, like, first off, they assume that she's white just from England.
Right,
she is black. She is black.
What does it matter though?
But what does it matter?
It's your choice.
Yeah, it's my choice. But it's like, you know, they want to be like, oh, why you want to leave the girls in America for some girls in England? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, because they're a little bit more down to earth. They're a little bit more realistic. Like, they understand that in a relationship, it takes two. Like, I feel like with her, it's not going to be just me working and, you know, she's just demanding of everything of me. I don't think she's going to allow that to happen. Whereas I feel like a woman here would be more so like, oh, you need to work like 2-3 different jobs. I need this Birkin bag. I need this Louis Vuitton bag. I need these red bottom shoes. Like, a lot of majority of women nowadays are very materialistic. They like to keep up with the Joneses in the sense of following social media. Everybody wants to be an influencer, things like that. Girls want to take trips all the time. And, you know, you got to remember, you got to go to work to pay for these trips and stuff like that. And who's going to work? A lot of women don't want to work nowadays and stuff like that. And things are, like I said, things are getting more expensive. Why as a man, am I gonna stress myself out like that for the rest of my life? Just working, and I don't even have no real peace when I come home. Like as soon as I come home, you like, so yeah, I need to see the credit card. Like,
question: what has your girlfriend from overseas shown you that gives you that distinguishing piece of saying she's more supportive? She would be more supportive than someone here from the ATL.
She sees that she sees my whole overall situation, and she sees how fast I'm trying to move and get things done and get things accomplished, because this is pretty much a restart for me in life.
But like, what is she doing though? What is she doing to? She's observing, but
she reminds me that I need to rest and take my time and step back, because I have a tendency to get clutter-minded. Like I start moving real fast. I'll start to overlook things. I'll overwork myself. I'll work myself till I'm sick if I just let myself go.
Yeah.
Like I've caught COVID like twice, just trying to work and stuff like that. And like one time I had to get the doctor to like lie about my results, so it was like
so you can go to work.
Yeah, so I can go to work. I was like, I got bills to pay and stuff like that, like child support, blah blah blah. Like,
and child support don't care if you got COVID.
Exactly,
especially when it's state regulated.
I'm still trying to transfer.
Where my money?
I need to, I'm still trying to transfer, so I need to pay off my old school. I need to get my license straight. I was like, there's so much stuff I need to get done. I want to get my daughter's visa. I was like, blah. I was just like, all right, like, okay, I know everything I need to do. All right, first off, I know I need to make more money.
But let's stay focused on what are some other things that she does to help. She helps you stay focused. Or what's something else that she does?
She's just real supportive of me. Like, if at the end of the day, like has she
ever taken you out on a date?
Has she ever taken me out on a date? She's offered.
Okay, that's enough, because I see you a man's man in terms of, you said earlier.
I'd rather pay when we go out on a date and stuff like that. But she's offered and stuff like that. Like I won't let her, pay for like a real dinner or something like that. Like, okay, if you want a DoorDash or something or whatever, like that.
Okay. Well, she's bringing something. She's paying for some things. Okay.
Like she's even sent me stuff over. Like she's
there you go.
Things like that.
Because there's a lot of women who won't do nothing.
Yeah.
It's like
like like me and her got into a debate about Father's Day. I was like, there's no reason why Father's Day should be after Groundhog's Day. Like Mother's Day is the #1 celebrated holiday, just across the map.
Right.
And I can understand it. I respect that. Like, women give birth, cool. Like, we understand that. Like, y'all close to death when y'all giving birth. Like, y'all bringing life when y'all close to death.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that. Like, that's respectable. But we shouldn't be like at the bottom of the chart as far as like holidays being celebrated.
Right.
Like, so I do feel like as men, as dads, stuff like that, we kind of get, overlooked when it comes to things like that. And it's more so because we get caught up with that whole I'm a man's man and stuff like that, that we don't really say that, like, oh yeah, I like a nice gift. It would be nice if you give me some Jordans. Like, I bought you that whole Louis Vuitton bag. Like, ain't nothing wrong with a pair of Jordans. Like, that Louis Vuitton bag costs like $400, $500. A pair of Jordans ain't nothing but like $125 to $200 maybe, like, depending on what kind I'm asking for. But either way it goes, the cost difference is different. Like, I'm not going to ask more from you
than you give me.
Yeah, than what I'm giving.
Right.
But
what if she does go overboard? Is that a problem with that?
Nah, I ain't gonna say it's a problem. I'll just be like, don't get excessive with it. We still got bills and stuff to pay at the end of the day. We got responsibilities. So, don't be out here just, like, oh yeah, I got you a Duke Lamborghini with who money.
Oh yeah. And then I'm just like, that's a good important. It's very important, because like if you using some other man's money to
because
there's like, well, why is he giving you money? That's a whole nother dynamic, and women don't recognize, like,
or even just the whole case of her using your money to buy you gifts.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
true, because that ain't no gift.
Yeah, like that
I
ain't
mean,
no
you-
gift. You
you-
use my money to buy me this. Like,
Right. Yeah.
like what's the difference of me going to the store and buying it? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like with the newer generation, I see why like a lot of guys don't want to get married or they're going overseas and stuff like that, because it's just like I feel like they start to question themselves, like they don't have enough love in their heart to deal with the whole situation and the stress. Like they'd rather spend their money on themselves and get with a woman that they know that's going to appreciate them, know how to cook and stuff like that, still know how to be, I guess in a quote unquote domestic. But I mean, no man really wants a fully domestic woman. Like we still want a woman that's going to go out and work. So I do feel like as men, we do have to share some of the burdens as far as like
I agree with that. I can cook better than most of them.
Yeah, like as far as like home care and stuff like that,
Right.
watching the kids, stuff like that, we do got to share that burden.
It's a
so
shared
that way,
duty, right?
Because I mean, a relationship is in a sense still 50-50. I mean, it's not exactly like that, because of course the man is going to have, like, a real man is going to take on more of the financial burden.
And the leadership is more in terms of service, and that's what he keeps saying. Even though he's not saying exactly, but biblically, a man is called to lead, and Jesus said, "Let the chiefest of us all, or the leader of us all, serve the most."
Yeah.
So I want to close out because the time about to get short. One thing that kept being prevalent: what are both parties bringing to the table? Are you an asset or you a deficit? Are you looking at the whole dynamics of the relationship, or are you just looking at the right now? Are you taking responsibility for the copulation experience? Are you using protection, contraceptives? Are you even thinking about what the politics of the relationship gonna be, or the dynamics of the relationship gonna be with dealing with co-parents on both sides? How is this family gonna blend? How will we deal with discipline? How will you deal with me feeling like a man with some pride and ego, which is healthy, to say, this is my house, this is our house, we need to lead this house and not have other influences leading this house. So there are a lot of things that need to be thought about and considered before we just say, hey, you look good, we got a good vibe, we should do something.
Yeah, before you make a bad decision, just do the best advice I can give, like I said, is be honest with yourself. If when in doubt, when you find yourself in a situation with another person, just ask God, like, be honest with yourself, do you really have enough love in your heart to deal with that situation for a major chunk of your life?
All right, there it is. Thank you.